you know, given that we are talking about getting out of your comfort zone, what would you say, was the first way in which, as you were dealing with this, that you sort of found yourself the opportunity to do that and pushed yourself to get out of your comfort zone? Talk
Yeah.
to us about the struggle of that.
Yeah. I would say the first thing getting out of my comfort zone was actually getting a diagnosis. It's like I feel like a lot of people do this, right? It's like you tolerate a lot of uncomfortability before, most people tolerate a lot of uncomfortability before they go to a doctor. They're like, oh, I have all these things wrong. And there's my sister. Like, I've never been one to, you know, advocate for like, oh, go to the doctor, go to the doctor. Um,
Mm,
just I've just not been a fan of the doctor ever. I don't know very many people who are unless you work in the medical field. And as my sister who does work in the medical field, she was like, promise me you're going to go figure out what's wrong. And so for 6 months, I did go do that. I did push past the like, this, I'm just going to figure it out. I'll just figure it out. I'll, find someone who knows, who thinks they might be able to heal me and do whatever they tell me. And so, yeah, I did spend 6 months going to different physicians and thankfully was, in Denver at the time and was with some of the most wonderful physicians. And my sister had contacts, which really helped to know who to go see.
hmm
Seeing a rheumatologist, seeing a heart specialist, a cardiologist for what was happening with me. And if it hadn't been kind of for that information and knowing the best doctors already through my sister's knowledge, my diagnoses of what I had takes most people 8 years to get diagnoses for it, because a lot of physicians will say that it's just depression or it's just anxiety.
Wow.
And there's not a lot of like cursors or markers to say like we can give you this diagnosis. And there's like one test they can do, which they don't push very much. And thankfully my cardiologist did that the first time. It was just like, let's test for this. And that was positive. So
Mm.
that helped get me a diagnosis more quickly. But yeah, and it was challenging. My daughter was 2 at the time, and she was home with me full time, and I was very sick, and we became a full-time patient. We were
Mm.
in doctor's offices 3, 4 times a week. And every
Mm.
time we'd go in, all the nurses would just praise her because they'd be like, she's so well behaved. I'm like, we've been doing this all week long for months. This is like normal life for her now. And I'd just set her up with my phone and turn Cinderella or Jungle Book on, just like whatever I had downloaded at the time. And, this is before like Netflix and all those allowed you to download videos for,
Mm.
going out and about. But, it was just became our life, and that was so challenging to have some freedom and then go to like you have to get all these appointments and all these therapies, and um it was helpful in the end. But at the end of it, I got to a point where I had a few diagnoses, and I was going to more specialists and more specialists.
Mhm.
And all of my diagnoses, they were like, we don't know how to treat you. We don't know how
Mm.
to really help you. There's no drugs to help you manage any of your symptoms.
Mm.
There are other drugs that have helped other people manage your symptoms, but they come with high risks like blindness
Mm.
and blood clots. And, so it was a point where I got with Western medicine where they were like, we can't help you. We can help you manage your symptoms with these other drugs that have helped other people but aren't made for what you have. And
Mm.
uh, so it got to a point where I was like, okay, I'm done going down the just getting diagnosis route, because that was
Mm.
the end of where Western medicine was able to help me personally.